Everybody, we have head coach Mike Leach. Again, if you'll put your name in the chat, I'll call on you. And if you're not asking a question, we ask you keep your mics muted. Get started with Ben.
Mike, after looking at the film again, are y'all muted? Mike, after looking at the film again, what did you kind of see from KJ? And at least going into this week, do you feel like he's still your starter going forward?
Well, we'll see, because we're, every position here is open to.
Hold on 1 second, Coach. Hold on 1 second. We've got you muted.
I think we got you now.
We'll see. We're going to have competition at nearly every position out there because we need to get the most cohesive group. I think that, just as far as being purely competitive out there at every position, I think we need to do. I think we need to take care of the football better for sure. I don't think we're, as I said in the last press conference, I don't think we're protecting well. I don't think we're seeing the field very well, and I don't think we're catching very well or running routes very well. And we have the ability to do it because, we've seen them do it. And, some cases, maybe some of the young guys have stage fright. Some cases, we just need to learn how to work harder, and develop the experience that allows us to do that.
Steve?
Coach, you mentioned on Saturday, too, that you felt like you guys needed to coach better offensively. Could you expound on that and kind of, what are you looking to see differently this week from the offensive staff?
The biggest thing we got to do as coaches is just coach detail as hard as we can. Coach detail, reinforce detail, insist on detail, and anytime you start out early on, there's going to be some hiccups and bumps in the road, and there's going to be stuff that you need to address as urgently as possible and as consistently as possible. And it's just part of the whole process, especially if you're putting in something new and you don't have too much time to do it. And I think some of this is going to continue too as we try to hone our skills and find out who the key guys are.
We'll go to Paul.
Coach, during camp, we heard a lot of good things about Laditra Griffin, that wide receiver. How is his development coming along so far?
I think he's explosive. I think he's explosive. I think if he knows exactly what to do, he does some good things. I think as he's searching for, if he's not sure, then he's hesitant. And I think that we just need to take more time.
Joel?
You mentioned after the Kentucky game getting beat up front and their three beating y'all's five several times and things. What's kind of, the message to the offensive line this week? What have you seen? What's kind of the game plan up front?
Well, we're going to be competitive at every position. There may be some lineup changes. We'll see. And then we also may play more guys, but we have to – if they bring three, we've got to consistently win those battles, and and I don't think we have been consistent at it.
Mike, kind of going off what Ben said a little bit there, but when it comes to KJ, what do you want to see him fix going into the A&M matchup if he is still starting?
I want him to see the field better and take care of the football, and then see the field better, quicker and efficiently, and then take care of the football, I think is key.
Going off of that a little bit, time and time again, you've said that you don't think KJ's eyes are in the right spot. Is that something you can teach or coach, or is that just something that has to come naturally for him? And given that he's had so much experience, why don't you think his eyes are in the right place?
I think it's both. I think it's both. I think it's something you teach, and I think I've got to do a better job of that. And then I think that, that he has to get him there. Just develop and force the habit of putting him there. But I think, we need to keep reinforcing and coaching it. So,
Steve?
Hey, Coach, the lots been made about your comments about possibly calling some players, something like that. I mean, how does that process go about? And now that you've had a time to think about that, where are you in that process?
I'm not sure what your question is. Calling some players.
Well, you mentioned that there were some guys that needed to find out if they wanted to play here or not.
Oh, okay. I think that I think, and this happens every time you take over a new program. I think we do have a few fence riders, that are trying to decide whether they're going to commit or they're not going to commit to, what everybody's doing here. And anytime there's a transition, there's a certain number of guys, and I've been through a number of these transitions, who are going to do the wait and see thing. Well, I'll see if I like what I see. Well, yeah, it's too bad. I mean, the train rolls on, and so, they need to jump on board pretty quick, or the train's going to roll on without them.
Ben?
Mike, not to harp on KJ again, but with kind of what he does and kind of what the defense is giving you in a lot of those sort of 5-yard, dink and dunks. I mean, how much of this is just a matter of, taking what's in front of him rather than maybe forcing downfield? Is that, sort of embracing those short throws? Do you feel like that's kind of what maybe a step in the direction for him?
Oh, I think it's a huge part, and I also think being quicker to decide, where things go. But it's not just KJ. It all, everybody's efforts feed off on the other. If we protect him better, that's easier for him to do. If we, if we're running routes extremely quickly, affecting the coverage, then that makes things easier to do. We have to be faster at finishing routes and more determined to finish routes and do them with precision. And, on a typical play, we'll go out there and 3 guys will do it and 2 won't. Well, if those 2 don't affect the coverage in the fashion that needs to be affected, then, there's problems for the other 3.
We'll go back to Steve.
Coach, where is the offense as far as maybe a frustration level right now, personally, and maybe some of the players? You mentioned that you guys practice a whole lot better than you play at times. So, what's kind of the mood of your room right now, and maybe with the coaching staff as well?
I think everybody wants things as fast as it can possibly happen, but then I think that, it gets revealed what you need to work on, and then you focus on that. I don't see a huge sense of frustration as much as, just a kind of a diligent determination to work hard and work smart,
We'll go back to Joel.
Obviously, ideally, you'd like KJ and or Will to do the things that you're asking and things of that nature. If that didn't happen, is the door totally closed on a Garrett Schrader possibly getting a shot back at quarterback again, or is he full-time wide receiver no matter what?
Well, if you keep shuffling the deck, you're not really going to get anywhere. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what unfolds, but, KJ and Will battle it out this week, so we'll see.
Go back to Ben.
Mike, you obviously played Texas A&M a ton when you were at Texas Tech. I guess, what do you remember about those games, and what do you kind of remember about that rivalry and kind of what it brought?
Great, exciting matchups. Our stadium, of course, was loaded and fired up. Our stadium developed a tradition where the students would camp out. First, they'd camp out for a night or 2 before the A&M game. Then it got to where they'd camp out for a whole week. And, and it's not just because they were that loyal of fans. They certainly were loyal fans, but let's be honest. I mean, if you're in college, it's fun to camp out and, build fires and eat stuff with your friends. And some of these tents had everything from water beds to pool tables to televisions that I've never had the pleasure of owning. And, there'd be speakers, there'd be music, so it was a heck of a deal. And then, somebody would kind of guard the camp during the day while that tent went to class or whatever. And so it was a heck of an event. And so when A&M would get there, I mean, there was like 3,000 people camping in that lot. And they'd elect a mayor, too. Sometimes there were 2 mayors if it got confused who was actually the first mayor. And then, but at A&M playing at A&M's outstanding. because there's an incredible number of people. It's one of the louder stadiums. It's got kind of a unique quality to it. It's just big, bold, stark, and loud, and it really is an environment to play. One time I referred to it as the Carnegie Hall of stadiums, and it kind of is in a lot of ways. So it's great games. It's always exciting to play A&M.
Go to Robbie.
Coach, y'all are really excited about what Will Rogers did and how he handled the offense when y'all were installing things. How did you feel like he handled his first real game situation?
I thought pretty good. It was a brutally tough situation, and you talk about the first college passes he's thrown. So, it's under the circumstances, I thought it was a start.
We'll go to John.
Mike, what about the Aggies defense kind of sticks out to you on tape, and what problems could they pose for your offense?
I think they're real physical up front on their defensive line. I think they run to the ball well. I think you just really, not really just intimidating, but just so solid. I don't see any holes, which is about the biggest compliment I can give a unit. I don't see any specific weaknesses where they're really working around something.
Got time for a few more. We'll go to Tyler.
Mike, I know you said that you don't want to shuffle the cards and that it's KJ or Will, but I'm curious with Jalen Maiden being around the program for a while, how does he fit into your offense and how does he look in practices?
It does some good things, working on consistency. I think he's getting better as we speak. I do have him behind KJ and Will, though.
Steve?
Coach, I believe Colin had 22 touches on Saturday, and it was kind of a difficult day on offense. But, how do you kind of feel like that maybe his role is evolving and his embracement of that?
Well, we'll just have to see. I mean, we'll have to see. We got a lot of quality backs, but I think that he played about like everybody else did out there Saturday.
Ben?
Mike, with the running game and kind of when you're seeing a lot of drop 8 coverage, obviously trying to get that going a little bit more, I guess what goes into that and maybe opening a few more holes? How much of that falls, at least in what you saw on tape, on the running backs, on the offensive line? Is it a combination of both, or what do you kind of feel like is kind of the step to, maybe hitting a few more of those
Well, I think first of all we have to get off the ball. We have to get off the ball with lower pads, and we've got to move the 3, and we got to do it quickly because, the drop 8, that's just how it starts. I mean, because those guys are storming forward the second the ball's snapped. So then the other thing, we got to see the hole better. We've got to hit the hole harder, and I think we've got to hit it better. I thought we made a lot of bad cuts last week, and we've got to be sharper at that as well. And I thought we definitely could have got off the ball better.
Got time for 2 more. We'll go to Tyler.
Yeah, just to follow up on the last couple of questions, going back to the audio after the game, you said that Kylan could have done a little more with those 22 touches that he did get. For him specifically, what was it about what he was doing that wasn't letting him, make the most of those touches?
Well, any ball carrier, I think one needs to go straight upfield after they catch the ball, and then the other thing is see the hole where it's blocked and designed, and but he wasn't alone in that. I mean, I thought all our ball carriers need to work that direction.
Anything else, guys? Okay, thank you, Coach.
All right. Coca-Cola.